So when you see this from the outside, it's white, right? You don't think there's a lot of color going on. But let's go inside and meet the homeowners, and you might feel differently in a minute. Hi. Thank you for having us. We're here live on our Weird Homes Tour stream.
All right, come on in.
Thank you for hosting us today.
You're welcome.
I'll grab the door behind
Christine.
I'm Charles.
Welcome to our home.
Wow, it's awesome. Thank you for having us.
How many people are watching?
Hundreds of thousands, I heard. Hundreds of thousands. So we're in a neighborhood just in Southeast Portland, right? Just heading towards Clackamas County, probably about 15 minutes southeast of downtown Portland, I would say, depending upon the traffic. Cute little white house from the outside, but it's not going to be white for long. Is that right?
True. I'm planning on painting a psychedelic design on the outside of the house. So that's just a coat of primer for now.
Awesome.
Don't know when I'm going to do that, but it's a plan. So let me tell you about some of the art that I've done in this room.
Great.
If you want to check out this wall right here, these are all old vinyl records that I have painted with my original designs. And I'll even grab one and show you the back of it. Check it out. It's just an old record. So I start in the center and I just draw and I turn it as I go and I just make these unique patterns and then they're really fun to paint and you can even spin them.
Oh, that looks really awesome when you spin them.
If you put a strobe light on them when you spin them in the dark, they really change directions and all sorts of things.
As we tour through your house, we're going to discover, I think, that you guys are both musical artists and painters and so many different kinds of art, right? This looks like it's something that really marries those two things. Just
Totally.
Like, is it CDs in the window
No,
there?
those are just old records too. They're 7-inch vinyl records and I make guitar picks. So I was getting all of these records and then punching out those shapes around the edges and selling those as little vinyl record guitar picks. And then what was left over, I just had all these pieces left over and made them into this groovy curtain in the window.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. And when you're doing these records, how long does it take to paint one of these? They're so detailed. Like,
yeah, some of the more detailed ones could be around a week or so, or like a Leslie detailed one could just be just like a few hours. So it depends. A lot of them, the really detailed ones, you can see this, they're dated. So this is from 97 and it was number 7. So I did a whole series when I first started in 1997 and that one up there was the very first one I did.
the one in the middle up there?
Yeah. And then I did around 30 of them that year, I think. Then I started making like bowls out of them. Like I have one of my record bowls on the bookshelf over here, so I can grab. Get over here. So like, if you heat them up, you can make them flexible. They kind of melt as you heat them, and then you can shape them however you like. So it's kind of a catch-all for some stuff. And then I also make clocks out of them, like that one, which is a bigger record. People often find weird records of different sizes and different colors, and then they contact me to ask if I want them. So that's how I end up with all the huge records. And all
Do you sell your art at all?
Yeah, I have an Etsy shop. It's my business is called I Pop Art. So I make your eyes pop.
Nice. Well, you certainly do. And I've heard that your kitchen, I haven't heard. You had a quick look earlier. I think your kitchen makes things pop too. Is that right?
I think so. Let's check it out.
Awesome.
Welcome to the kitchen.
Oh, it's awesome.
Okay, so the main attraction is these coffee cups, which I call psychedelic coffee cups. People call them pedestal mugs or teacups, but I just always called them psychedelic coffee cups. And I started collecting them when I was about 16. Used to go to the thrift store on McLaughlin by my parents' house, Valley Village. Just go in there looking for stuff and started finding these were like, 49 cents each.
Yeah.
So I just loved them and started collecting them and just kind of made it my life to collect all the coffee cups.
How many do you think you have now?
Oh.
I think there are over 200 in this room alone.
200 in this room.
Yeah, and I probably have another couple hundred in the closet, just like in crates. When we were doing the Airbnb, we also had like a little gift shop where we had like things that our guests could like purchase. So I had a display of coffee cups and like other handmade things that people could buy. But we're not really doing that right now.
Of course, COVID has stopped so many things that we'll sort of experience in your home, whether it's the music we'll see later or having an Airbnb. What was it like, or what will it be like again, having people stay in your home? Because it's not like a separate house, right? It's a room in your home.
Mm-hmm.
What is it like having people stay right there? Could you want to come in so we can see you? You're hiding.
It was really fun. We had this whole setup for breakfast going on where we would do the coffee and we had muffins and like a little breakfast nook over here every morning. People would come out and get their coffee and breakfast and we would see them in the hall. But, it was really fun and not that stressful to have strangers in the house. It was pretty cool. We met people from all over the world. Everyone was pretty enthusiastic and happy to be here, and it was great. Even though we were sharing a bathroom, it was never really that much of a problem. But because we only have one bathroom, that's kind of why we are no longer hosting during the pandemic.
Right, of course.
Total separate rooms.
Yeah. So, did you find there was a particular, I don't want to say type of person, but could you be able to sort of generalize about the people who would stay here? Because I've seen your Airbnb ad and it shows all the beauty of these rooms and how eclectic your home is. Did you find there were people who were really attracted to that? Or were they just like, I'm looking for a place to stay in Portland and this is like a good deal and a good location?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
I think a lot younger. A lot was pretty cool. Like college students.
A lot of college kids, students, people.
Yeah, people who are just like going on road trips, going up and down the West Coast. People who are kind of on a mission to find something different in Portland, to kind of explore the hidden side of things, who want to find something that's authentic and real, and not just like one of our guests was like, most of these places are just full of Walmart art, and their house is not like that.
Definitely not.
So we found that we actually developed relationships with these people, and we cared about them, and it was great to like be part of their journey and know that like they're going to always remember their time here. We have a little guest book that people would fill out, leave notes and stuff, and it's like one of my favorite things is just reading these wonderful notes that people leave, little drawings and pictures of our cat and stuff.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Now I don't know very much about color theory. Izzy is the artist in our group, in the group of the two of us. But I think I know that yellow is supposed to like brighten the spirits and like be uplifting and things like that. Is the yellow purposeful in that way at all? Or is it just I love yellow, or what's the inspiration?
Sunshine?
Yeah, I think I just wanted a bright
Southbridge.
kitchen, and yellow seemed like a good color. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know that I did want to have like a yellow kitchen walls and a white ceiling, and that was the plan until I messed up with the roller and couldn't get a good edge in the corners, and so that's why all this yellow is kind of happening. This is all just a mistake of me just like, okay, whatever, I'm going to have fun now because I couldn't get a straight edge. So
Now you've lived in this home for quite a while, right? Since the 90s, is that right?
That's correct. Since 97.
November 97. Yeah,
Raised 2 kids here.
we sure did.
2 kids.
When did the home begin to be a piece of art as well?
Well, I think the
away.
first thing we did was the bedroom. The ceiling in the bedroom was
The first thing you did,
thing
yeah.
that I did, and that was like within the first year that we lived here.
Yeah.
I remember my grandparents in Minnesota coming to visit, and we had like no furniture, no curtains, hardly anything. But I had this ceiling painting, and my grandpa was just kind of blown away.
He
Why
was
don't we go
really-
check it out?
Perfect.
There was
Perfect.
just, I mean, as you can see in the living room, there was just wood paneling everywhere.
Oh, wow.
And so all of that came down.
I just paint over.
Sometimes, oh yeah.
I can hear these yellow and orange stripes with wood paneling. Yeah, come on in. This is the master bedroom. So that's the psychedelic ceiling. That was like the first thing I did in this house. And I just basically would stand on a ladder and drew it all with a pencil first and then colored it in. Then I just started doing each individual wall. And the idea was to have like these monochromatic designs. So like there's the purple one, and the yellow, and the green, and the red, and the blue. And then I kind of ran out of those and started doing multicolored ones. Yeah.
So talk through a little bit more, if you don't mind, how you do a ceiling paint like this. Like, I imagine it takes forever. I imagine your arms must get even more tired than Izzy's are today for holding the phone all day.
Yeah, I mean, I was standing on the ladder, so we had like a mattress on the floor at the time, and I just like flip it up against the wall and just get up here on my ladder. I think I had like a couple weeks of vacation from work at the time, so I like was really dedicated to getting this done while my kids are running around, you know. But I just started in the center with the light there, and kind of the idea was, well, if I can't have a beautiful chandelier, I'm just going to paint my own. So I just kind of started drawing these like flower petals around the light fixture thingy and just building out from there, really. Just like it's all freehand and it's not perfect.
Did you know where you were going? Like, did you?
Yeah.
No, it just kind of comes out the way it comes out. You know, you just have to start and just kind of build, and it's just really basic shapes and simple movements, just repeating the same thing, and then it just kind of comes out however it does.
So this was back in the 90s-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then how long has it taken to get to this point? Or is it still happening?
Well, this is pretty much done.
Okay.
I do have like a vision of I want like a cool curtain to go across here, so I can kind of make it room. Because this part of the room is supposed to be like more of a little reading nook kind of thing.
More
which is
records
why,
again.
Yeah, the red records. That's why it has a white background where everything else has a black background, because I wanted it to be a little brighter in case you did want to read a book, all the light wouldn't be absorbed, you know. But having a curtain here would be cool. But other than that, yeah, actually this part was not done for a really long time. All of this was, and then this was just like ugly brown wood paneling, which I just painted over with these stripes. So, you know.
Do you paint as well?
No.
No. You're a
A little
musician.
bit. A little bit.
He helps me with stuff.
I help.
Yeah.
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 Everybody
Yeah.
needs a good assistant.
I've done some painting, but
Yeah.
And then this room also transforms. So while we're in here,
Oh,
we're
I can-
gonna
yeah.
like show you what else
shut some.
happens.
Oh,
in
this
room.
is awesome. This
Yeah,
chessboard.
we play tons of chess.
Do
and this is
you?
our chess set. We actually just repainted everything because we wanted to make it a black light reactive. So
Okay.
we're gonna be bringing on the black lights here, showing you how that works.
That's really neat.
It's dark enough
Oh,
in
here we go.
So all of the paintings in the room have phosphorescent medium as well as black light reactive. So it glows in the dark with just regular glow in the dark, and then it also can be really fun with a black light.
Really,
We are
really
quite
neat.
getting it dark enough in here.
Yeah. It's better at night, but you know, we have these room darkening curtains, which
Yeah.
helps.
Oh, and so when you started this, you must have known
Yeah,
that you were
it's
heading
the green
towards this
light.
that
green
towards this glow in the dark because that's awesome.
That was good.
Yeah, I did know that I wanted to do glow in the dark stuff.
And this
so-
stuff is also black
Oh.
light.
Check that out.
We
Of
have
course,
yet to
it's
play a
very
full game of blacklight chess because we haven't quite finished painting them yet. But
Yeah.
we wanted to break them out for the Weird Homes tour.
Do you use the black light very often?
Yeah.
Do you really?
Oh,
And we have black light shows sometimes when we play.
Yeah.
But yeah. And we also play Night Mitten.
You play what? What is night mitten?
It's glow in the dark badminton at night. So we purchased.
Yeah.
You can buy these light up birdies. You know, the shuttlecocks that have
Yeah.
like, different colored lights in them.
Yeah.
And so they glow. They light up at night, and you can play badminton at night.
Oh, that's
We call it night mitten.
that's
They
awesome.
have leagues in Europe,
Well, they call it black mitten.
Black mitten in Europe.
But
and
this
it's
more of like a
very competitive.
black light. stuff. This is
Black
just-
light.
That's great.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. So then if this is an Airbnb, sometimes we're stay. I'm sure they want to be in that glow in the dark.
We do have this room listed as well, but we
Okay.
never ended up renting it. You listed it and then it just never got booked. But so at some point, yeah, it's on there. Like you can see it, but you can't book it.
I'm surprised.
So
Yeah.
that's Johnny Teacup.
Oh,
Everyone loves that cat that has ever stayed here.
oh, he's so small.
When
That's
he
why
was
he's
a
called
baby-
Teacup.
When he was
Yeah.
a baby, he fit into one of my psychedelic coffee cups. But
Oh.
Johnny Teacup is a better name than Johnny Coffee Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are just beautiful. The detail on this is amazing.
Thank you. Any questions from the audience?
We do. So we have a paint question. What kind of paint do you use when you're painting your records? What kind of paint is that?
I use acrylics. So with the records, I actually paint them with a white primer first, like a spray can, like a vinyl primer, give it a coat of white, and then I usually draw on it with a pen or a pencil or a Sharpie, and then paint it with acrylics.
Oh, okay, sounds good. Sounds good. And then we have someone who wants to know about the origin of the name, the House of Sarcasm. They think your home is actually very sincere. So why is it called the House of Sarcasm?
Well, Chuck and I have been together for a long time, and back when we lived in a tiny studio apartment in Great Falls, Montana, I don't know, I think we just
We have a way of speaking to each other.
we might have been fighting a lot. I don't know.
Sarcastic.
At some point, he said, "Why don't you just put up a sign that says House of Sarcasm?" So I did. I
So
made a
she did.
little handwritten sign and stuck it on the door of our apartment. And ever since then, every place we've lived, we've just called it the House of Sarcasm.
All
And
of our friends seem to agree with it.
Oh,
it is well known for our Halloween party that we have every year, the House of Sarcasm Halloween party, which we are not having this year, sadly.
So
It
it's a
has
regular
been a lot of fun in the past, and we'll show you where that happens. But first, the guest room.
perfect.
So this is where our Airbnb guests got to come and stay.
Oh, it's
Just
awesome.
slide right by you here.
I just want to dive onto that bed.
Go
It
ahead.
looks So no,
Do it.
it looks so comfy. Oh
It
wow.
is, yeah. It's kind of small, but it's just a cozy room, and it's decorated with this collection of sorry, Chuck.
No, that's fine.
There's
All of these posters were given to me by somebody who found them in the attic of a house that he was remodeling here in Portland. He also found a bunch of records, and so contacted me. Hey, you want some records? And
Yeah.
do you also want a whole bunch of cool old jazz posters from different events that happened around Portland in like the 60s and 70s, back when it was really cheap to go to a show. Like one of these says it's only $1.
I'm gonna open the door again. So
Oh yeah. Like
So
this
you're
was
not
$1
sure.
for adults or 50 cents for students. New sounds in jazz at Clark College.
oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So I read that you wish you were a hippie. Is that right?
Maybe. I used to wish that I had grown up in that era. Yeah, I
Really?
would have loved to have been around in the 60s. I was born in the 70s, though. So, yeah. I
What
love
was
the-
it about the 60s that
Well, the
appeals to you?
music, the clothes, the colors, the psychedelia, the freedom, just the summer of love, rock and roll. I was just excited when I was a
The
kid in the
cars.
80s and just kind of rediscovering the Beatles and like the Sgt. Pepper's album, because like that was 20 years since Sgt. Pepper came out, right? It was
Yeah.
1987 and I'm a teenager. And
Yeah.
I'm really interested in what the Beatles were doing in 1967. I
Yeah.
need to go to the thrift store and find myself some cool clothes, and it just kind of took off from there.
I love that it sounds like your start with art, and correct me if I'm wrong, started with thrift store finds, and that has now become your home in a sense. Like those finds that you're finding down in Clackamas are now part of what the decor of your home is.
Totally.
Is that-
Yeah, I mean, I still have many of the things that I started collecting when I was a teenager. And
That's
then, like, all
amazing.
of my designs are very much inspired by that whole psychedelic era. I love it.
Do you wish you were a hippie?
No, I am a hippie.
Oh, nice.
No, I went through all of that, but no, I chose the punk route.
You chose punk instead.
Yeah,
Nice.
absolutely.
What is it
I was
like?
born in the 60s, though, so
So you can own that.
absolutely.
What is it like living in a house of so much color?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've lived in other houses a long, long time ago. I
Yeah.
can't remember. But everybody's house is, it has white walls and picture hanging.
Exactly.
And it's like if we're, it's the first house we ever bought and we're going to live here, we might as well make it our own.
Yeah.
It's, everybody gets to be free in America, right?
Exactly.
So why not do something different?
That's awesome.
I love it.
So I think we're going to go to the basement and see where some of the magical parties happen. Is that right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yes.
Watch your step. As the sign says, don't be tripping.
Nice.
It's hard to come down.
Oh, yeah, bad. Oh, it does seem quiet, doesn't it, without music?
And I usually have it instead of just a little speaker running through the PA
Oh,
too.
yeah.
So it gets
Well,
really loud.
We can always put it on. But so, wow, this is pretty darn cool.
Thanks.
Tell
it's
us
one of
about
the
this room.
reasons. Sorry.
No,
Over
tell us about
talking.
this room.
It's one of the reasons we bought the house because at our old house, we were practicing making some music, and we got a cease and desist order from the city, a fine, saying you're too loud, and so we realized that probably living in a house that we were living in was too loud, and we needed a place with a big enough basement to make music, and we wanted a fireplace and a yard for our kids and some other things. And just happened to have a fireplace in the band room.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
And
was
it
full of
works.
spiders
Makes me
when we
happy.
got there.
Hey, what?
It was full of spiders. There was no ceiling, and it was all
What is
really creepy.
so? What's on the ceiling here? What are we looking at?
Residue. It's just stuff from high school on, even younger than that. Just old albums, things that we've saved over the years, old flyers, favorite records.
What's something that you? What are one of the two? Verbal slam dancing. What is this?
That's our.
I think it's a show you perform in, or
Well, we have a radio show with Freeform Portland, and yeah, we are DJs, but we aren't really doing that right now either. They recently started doing live broadcasting from people's homes, so we're gonna get hooked up and try to get back into the rotation where we'll be like just doing our show from here because they closed the station down. But check out freeformportland.org. It's a volunteer-run local radio station that is pretty cool. There's a lot of great music, rare finds, local bands.
And what
Lots of different
is,
DJs.
yeah, can you come over this way so we can see you?
Sorry.
So, no, that's okay. We just don't want to miss you here. So what is verbal slam dancing?
Well, it's just the name of our show that
Okay.
we were co-hosting every other Tuesday morning, but it also goes back to
The art of our conversations.
the House of Sarcasm.
Ah.
And somebody once told us that the way we talked to each other was verbal slam dancing. Actually, it's the person who introduced us to each other back in 1991. Spencer Meyer said that we were verbal slam dancing.
Do you think that's, from my very short period of time with you, I don't hear sarcasm or verbal slam dancing?
We're
Oh,
being very polite.
Oh, okay. Let your true self out.
No, I mean,
well, no, we.
we're not mean jerks anymore, hopefully.
No, nothing like that. It's just, you can always find. It used to be, who could be the devil's advocate, or there's always another side to it, or
Yeah.
whatever. But there used to be other things involved.
When you've been with somebody for as long as we have, you learn to get along over
Yeah.
the years, and maybe there's not quite as much of the sarcasm.
Nice.
Yeah. You've always been friends first.
We are best friends.
Yes.
That's what everyone can hope for. So you host parties down here, and you were just telling me that you host an annual Halloween party, which unfortunately won't happen this year, but will happen again.
Oh yeah.
And you have 300 people.
We have had,
It's
not in the room, but in all the rooms and outside. Yeah. We've had 300 plus people. Yeah. Costume party, 9 bands. And they all play here. Everyone gets 30 minutes, then they get run out the door with the bullhorn.
we turn on all these fans and air it out, and
Air
then
it
let
out.
the next band come in. And so there's always people like all over the house, in the backyard, just everywhere. You
Yeah.
know,
And
not
we-
necessarily coming
Yeah.
down here to slam dance,
Yeah.
but
But
people
yeah,
hang out
because they
all
can't
over.
get in the door.
Right. Yeah.
Because we take the doors off and all that. And the windows that used to be in here have all been sealed shut.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of
soundproof.
soundproofing.
We had our first Halloween party, or one of our first parties ever. When we first moved in, we went upstairs and found out that someone had smashed in our big picture window and spray painted a music note with a slash through it on the sidewalk.
No.
So it was
Yeah.
like, I guess we better soundproof.
Yeah.
So we did. We've never had the cops show up. We never had any trouble with the neighbors. We usually invite all the neighbors. So.
Yeah. What is it like? It seems like you are very social people, and that a good part of this house is designed for people, whether it be people staying here for Airbnb or people here at parties or your bands. Tell us a little bit about living in a home that's set for socializing in so many ways. What is that like for you? What does that meaning of home mean for you?
Well, I guess it means that people don't usually invite us to their house
Oh,
to play.
because it doesn't compare.
No. It's just because it's like if we have practice here, everyone comes here.
Yeah.
The Halloween party here, everyone comes here. Dinner parties. I spent most of my life as a chef, so
How did you?
so we used to have dinner parties a lot, and we just come here. It just seemed like it ended up being a place where people came, and so I guess that's one thing that I notice about having to socialize is we don't go anywhere else very often.
Come to us. People love coming over. They tell us how it has like such good vibes, and they just love to be here. So
That must make you really happy.
definitely,
Yeah.
Yeah. So will you play some music for us? Or not today?
I would, but today's not a very good day
Okay,
for me to play music. I just got things set up and nothing is in tune.
no problem. We can dream about it for another day, for
Let's
sure.
check out our
Absolutely.
band. We are called Dartgun and the Vignettes, and we're actually on a new compilation record that just came out last month, put out by
Yeah.
Volume Bomb Records. It's called
Okay.
Volume Bomb The Cops. And our song, The Church of Monday Night Football, is the third song. The Dead Kennedys are also on this record. Famous
And-
punk band as
And
well as
DOA
and MDC.
and MDC and
lots of
RKL,
local bands.
Nice.
And all proceeds from the sale of this record go to Don't Shoot Portland, which is a nonprofit that's working to end police brutality. So you can go buy it on Bandcamp. It's $10. It's called Volume Bomb the Cops.
Now, while we're talking about that and talking about sort of supporting causes, tell us about, you started a nonprofit, is that right?
Yeah, we sure did. So our beloved
Friend
bandmate
Dana.
Thompson passed away last July 2019. Unfortunately, we lost her unexpectedly. So we kind of got together with some of her friends and co-founded a nonprofit organization. It's called the Dana Thompson Memorial Fund of Awesome, DTMFA. You can visit us online at dtmfa.org, and we're also on Facebook. And basically what we're doing is raising funds to send young Black girls and trans youth to rock and roll camp for girls so that they can continue to honor Dana's legacy and you know, keep the next generation going with rock and roll.
We sent five kids this year.
We sure did, yeah. So
Congratulations to you for making a real impact on this community and for clearly making your house a place where a lot of that starts. If they're playing music down here, this is like really kind of bringing things to life here. That's kind of amazing. What have we not talked about with your home so far that you feel like we should make sure to know about, make sure to touch on?
Well, we do a lot of interesting things in the backyard, which is not, since the windstorm and stuff is not really set up. We have a little homemade city out there, Hot Wheel cars and stuff.
Oh,
But it got destroyed in all the windstorms, so that wasn't able to get fixed yet.
okay. And you have a teacup garden out there too, I understand.
yeah, there's photos on my Instagram if anyone wants to check it out. It's iPopArt, EYEPOPART. And our little backyard village is called New Littleville. Because when we first met in 1991, we went off and lived together in the mountains of Montana and found a little area where we would go out and like gather like sticks and rocks and like we built little houses and made a little village in the middle of the mountains of the forest, and we called it Littleville. And that was like almost 30 years ago. And then this summer, because we were so bored with nothing to do, home all the time, we pulled out our kids' old Lincoln logs and we're like, let's start building little houses out of Lincoln logs. And then we started getting out all the stuff and all the Hot Wheels.
Broke out all my old Hot Wheels from the 70s.
I love that you still have them.
Oh man, that's great. And then we found some vintage track also online. So
yeah, cool. But it's not set up right now because it got destroyed in the recent windstorm. But you can see pictures on Instagram.
yeah,
What do you say to someone, if someone's watching and they're like, my house has light gray walls and that's it, and I want to infuse some sort of color, where should they start? Like, they're not going to do the whole thing on the ceiling necessarily out of the gate. What sort of painting or what sort of color do you recommend that people can start with?
Oh boy. Well, you know, it depends on if you're allowed to like really go for it. If you like own your house or have permission or whatever, then yeah, I would say do whatever makes you happy. You know, pick colors that like go with your moods or that you want to have to see every day. Like down here, it's a red room because this is Chuck's realm and he loves red.
We did all the walls and the floor. We used to have a big swirl under it. And this used to be all, of course, wood paneling. We took all that down.
There's a common theme of it used to be wood paneling.
Christine came down because it was just white gypsum underneath it, and just with a Sharpie, you know, just did a Sharpie and it was all black and white. It's like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was all cool.
It's really just doodling. So like if you like to doodle, you know, you don't have to be like a great artist. You know, I'm not trained. I haven't like learned how to paint or anything. I just taught myself by just starting. You just have to start. You just have to like, you know, stick the pen on the wall and draw a design and see what happens, you know, just don't worry about making mistakes. Like I mess up all the time and you can't really tell.
Have you ever had to paint over? Like, have you ever said, no, I'm taking white paint back to this and we're starting from scratch?
Well, the only thing was his guitar. which I had
God,
done
I'm
a
so
whole
sorry.
design on that guitar right there, which is
Oh.
actually broken right now. The headstock broke off. But that used to have a completely different design painted on it. And so he decided he wanted something else. So, okay. So I think we just sanded it all off and started over.
No, you
Did
you
over
made
it?
me primer it white.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it felt really bad, and then I never thought about it again. And I recently saw a picture of it in photo ops. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. I mean, I was fine with it. Like, I don't miss the old design. I don't even remember it. And I think it turned out better the second time.
This
around.
is the first thing. This was when we lived in Montana that Christine painted.
Which was the second thing I ever
Oh, the
made.
second
The
thing.
first thing was my suitcase, which is
Right.
upstairs. Yeah, then I was just like, he had this guitar and he's like, here, paint this. And I just like started painting.
I love it. Awesome.
It's a Star Trek symbol.
The
Klingon
Klingon symbol,
Empire.
and of course this is the case that matches it with the psychedelics on the front, and then the
Lighting's pretty bad.
I know.
Are there any questions
Have
from
this.
the crowd?
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions, Kevin?
I mean, everyone's loving the color. They love you too, and just how much like in love you are and how cute you are. We have a random question from Katie Ann who wants to know what plants grow best in a teacup. I think she wants to start her own teacup collection.
Well, I wish that I had done something different, but I just used seeds that we had on hand. So I planted marigolds, which actually worked really well.
Dwarf ones.
They were great. And I planted cosmos, which just started blooming. They're kind of funky because they have really long stems. So I don't know. I also planted 4 o'clocks, which still haven't bloomed yet. And I planted some butter lettuces. So like I got a lot of greenery going on and I just like been waiting for more flowers. But the marigolds have popped really well. And yeah, but I would rather have like pansies or like little,
Or
things that kind of
falling plants.
cascade. Oh, I also have nasturtiums in there. And those are doing pretty well too.
We
But
expected,
next year I
expected
want
it
like
to fall.
more
Yeah.
things that'll like spill
Pretty cool.
out and spill over the cup instead of like growing straight up out of the cup.
And I presume they're going to be colorful because, okay, I just noticed the rats. Oh my gosh, before we finish, I just noticed those.
It's squish
Why
and
do you
sweet.
have rats?
Why?
Well, they were a long time ago when we first moved in. Our kids were very small. They each got a rat for Halloween, a fake rat, just for a joke, and they named them Squish and Squeak because they make 2 different noises. But they have to go on the dead Kennedy's wall. In the back.
awesome. Well, you guys, thank you so much for coming on back so we can
Oh,
see both
thanks.
of you. Thank you for spending time with us today and in these sad COVID days. You definitely brought people some joy for sharing the color of your home and the passion that you have for art. And I know that your parties and stuff will be alive again any day now. And we look forward to seeing you again maybe next year. Maybe hearing some music and showing up at a party sometime.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, Kevin, we're back to you.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you, Charles. As always, we love
Thank
having you guys here.